Shalom. My title is Don Cornigas Azrasos, making this video to basically raise awareness to the people, to the public, about our current situation, our current problems, looking to make, you know, connections with people who actually care and are actually willing to get involved. Because the way things are going right now, we're basically going to die. Like just be not being negative, but just being honest, being 1 trillion about the situation. I mean, basically everywhere you go, there's like pollution. There's oil fields. There are all types of, gadgets or tools that's being used that is basically destroying the earth, the deleterious to the earth's health. Like is basically keeping us in the situation where we're not going to be able to survive. President Obama he basically said in one of his speeches, like we're basically facing a situation where we have climate change, and this is our only opportunity to address it. Like our kids aren't going to be able to address it, because by that point in time, I would imagine it would be too far out of control to do anything about it. I mean, we have opportunity now to make a positive stand towards this. I mean, so I would just ask people to stop promoting stuff that don't matter, like this senseless entertainment, senseless beef and rap or hip hop or whatever you want to call it nowadays. And your favorite sports team, like I gave up sports. I mean, I love just the mess out of football, but I feel as though your team wins the Super Bowl tomorrow, you're still going to have the same problems we have today. I mean, it don't make any difference. But as far as just what's going on here, I'll recommend that we just break away from the matrix or whatever for the system and start reevaluating or evaluating what's really going on and come up with solutions. Join together and everybody come together and put our pride aside. I mean, I don't gotta like you to fight for life. Like, I mean, that's childish stuff. We all adults here, supposedly adults. So it's time we start acting like it. But as far as what's going on with us as a people, the division. I mean, it goes back to the Bible, Genesis. When we were building and living as one, it had the identity of one Creator, and we knew we know who we were and what we were to do. I mean, those who were in power, or what they call the angels and the Nephilim, they saw us doing these marvelous works that were basically can be categorized as godlike. Like we were basically doing things that were, wasn't expected of what we call the human race. But the crazy part is, it says in the Bible, let us us go down there and confuse their language and spread them about, so they won't be able to understand each other. For what they're doing right now, if they are to achieve this, nothing will be impossible to them. Then if you read the book of Enki by Zecharia Sitchin, a book that basically is based on an outside people or outside extraterrestrial race, basically says that man was evolved by these beings and made to be, a slave worker. That's why if you read the Bible and you read the book of Enki, it just goes hand in hand. That we weren't supposed to be who we are. We're not supposed to be. They basically gave us a ceiling, and we're not supposed to pass that ceiling. And when we do, they come back and make changes, modify our way of living. I mean, I would imagine there's some in the elite class, or those in the elite take orders from these beings. I mean, if you want to sit here and say there's no otherworldly beings, you need to get out your little bubble, outside your little box, man. Like I use religion as a tool to guide me to be a better being. I know who my creator is. Creator is not religion. Like religion, I mean, it's right there in the Bible that religion has been scattered, like the truth has been scattered throughout all religions, the pieces to the puzzle. So I mean, if you're ignorant, you can't comprehend that, man. Like honestly, I'm not trying to be a butthole. I mean, you're just not the person I'm attempting to connect with, because you're still mind fucked or mind fudged. So I apologize for my language, but I'm just being 1 trillion about the situation. As far as the courts are concerned, I mean, females, if the dude really isn't, doing something negative to you, like leave the courts alone, man. Like Willie Lynch 101, destroy the male and talk to the female, negotiate with the female. Why is it that females can go to court and basically make up anything against the male and be granted any type of, judgment in her favor, and the male has to sit here and fight for his life? You, the female, you're destroying your king for the enemy, and then you go ahead and then you work for the enemy. You go ahead and get support from the enemy. You go ahead and you mate with the enemy. But then you want to turn around and say there's no good black men or there's no good minority men around because you helped destroy them. I mean, common sense, 101. But yeah, it's just, I mean, it's not just the females, it's just us as a people, man. Like, we sit here and fight amongst ourselves about dumb stuff and things don't matter. We'll sit here and kill somebody over some sneakers, over a female, but not just a female, a female dog female, not the female, a righteous queen female. A Joan is probably a whore running around with all types of dudes, and you get catching feelings or whatever. But meanwhile, the guard dogs, what I call them anyway, they were police officers, come in your neighborhood and you stand at attention. You like, huh? Like, you just, I mean, you turn to a straight, female dog. But then your brethren come around there from a different area and you ready to kill them or fight them over your territory. That's an oxymoron, man. But anyways, I mean, I understand, like, these are all weapons and tools of war. Like, we over here fighting amongst, like, fighting these little wars over here, or these little battles, and there's a major war going on over there, and it's being waged by the elite, or what we call Nephilim, or like you reading the book of Enoch, the fallen angels, or the fallen extraterrestrials, or those who came to Earth. Whatever you want to call it, man. Like, everybody's waiting for Yahushua to come back. Yahushua was already here in all of us. Like, it's in the Bible. If you read and study it, not just listen to what your preacher tells you, but actually research. Like, it says in the Bible, "Seek and you shall find," not just in Christianity, but in all of the world. I mean, achieving enlightenment, you're destined to achieve the I and I, connecting the higher I to the lower I, as above, so below. What the Buddha talked about, what they talk about in Hindu, which is Hindu and Buddhist, and go back, they're basically branches of ancient Mizraim, Egypt, back to Babylonia or Samaria. But today, all the new religions, Christianity and Islam and Judaism, or Judaism, whatever you want to call it, they all basically talk down against the ancient teachings of the old world. But the old world helped us to recognize our connection to the higher I. But like I said, if you want to sit here in your box, obviously you're not the person I'm trying to talk. I'm attempting to connect with. As far as the situation, how to get ourselves out of it, it's simple, man. Like, start buying, stock up on water, stock up on non-perishable foods. We all gotta get together and make demands, like demands, and have a deadline, like a real close deadline. And if our demands aren't met, just stop supporting the system, man. Stop going to work. Stop buying from them. And just stay in the house, hoarding your house, or wherever you may dwell at. Just stop. Sit down. Don't watch no TV. Unplug all your electronics. Unplug everything. I mean, it's family time. Spend some time with your family. Meditate. I mean, read. TV just basically dumbs us down. Unless you're watching something very intellectual, like Discovery Channel or History Channel, or Real History. About I watch Ancient Aliens all crazy, and that helped to understand the real, the true, what's really going on. But like, if you're not watching something that's really helping your mind, or getting your mind involved, you're basically being dumbed down. So that right there is one part that would basically destroy. By doing that, we'll destroy the system. We feed the system. Without us, like, it's like the Matrix. Without us, the system ceased to exist. Now, yeah, we're going to meet some type of resistance. They'll probably come out and try to mess with us and bother us and force us to go back to work. Hey, man, either way, we're being beat the hell down in the street, so it ain't gonna make a difference. I mean, wouldn't you rather get your butt beat, or smacked around, or probably even killed, fighting for your, standing up for what's right, rather than just going on? You go along with the system, with the program, and they basically making examples out of people to check the other people. The scared tactics, another tool of war, art of war, man. But basically, we have to, I mean, just unite, man. Like Mr. Marley said, man, we've been doing this for too long, man. It's time to rebel. Like, why are we still like you working, and you're actually making less progress than people did back in the day. Like, people were actually able to go to work with one job and support their whole family, sending their kids to college. Now you got college kids, this dudes that got like crazy GPAs, like graduated at top honors, working at McDonald's, and like thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. Like, how is that even in your brain? How does that even compute to something that makes sense? So if we can sit here and see we're working harder than before and making less. I mean, what more do you need to rebel, man? Like, people have their. I mean, I see people out here. They getting their individual money. You're getting your individual cream, bread. But what about the majority of the people? Why the more you take, the more you. I mean, the more you. Yeah, the more you take, away from other people. You're taking and getting this from from your business or whatever. But you're taking away from the people. It's like, for one person to make hundreds of thousands of dollars, even millions. There's hundreds of thousands, even millions, are suffering because of that. We're in a system that's meant for for a small majority to rule and have their little house niggas or the house people make some money, so they feel as though they're doing something positive. But on the other side, to the other side of the coin, is built to make the majority suffer. So what goes back to the Bible, or just the teachings of life in itself. If everybody isn't able to live how we want to live or how we should, then nobody should live that way. But see, that's the problem. Like, that's divide and rule. They made it a rat race. Like Mr. Marley say, what a rat race, man. When the lion's gone, the mice will play. It's no longer the jungle of the lion. This is jungle. This is like a little maze for the rats to run around. I ain't no rat, man. It's like, seriously, man. Like, a lot of people out here is really rats, and they, you can see what's really going on. People don't care about what's really happening here. But as far as getting a message out, I mean, like I said, if you're suffering, you're starving, you need to eat. Why is it your congressman, your local Congress, can go home and to their the big behind lavish homes with all the types of comfortable things to keep themselves entertained. So another tool we can use is basically find out where they live at, and what I call a shift protest. I know everybody has to work, so everybody don't have to be there, but make it so that they're not able to sleep. Have somebody always outside of their house 24/7, 365. I went to the White House like over the summer, and it's like midnight, probably 1 in the morning, I guess. Same difference. This one dude out there. He had all these pictures of what's going on in the Middle East. My man out there camped out there, had his sleeping bag, had his little tent set up, and it's like basically it's the where everybody go past and take pictures at. That whole street should be filled with protesters, and it shouldn't be quiet. It should be loud. Like, these dudes in charge and power should not be able to sleep. If you can't sleep, if you can't eat, you can't provide for yourself, why are you letting these dudes go home and relax? You'll sit here and harass your brethren over $5, and you can't eat. These dudes can go. They go home. They destroy the world on a daily basis, and they're able to go home and relax. Like, I mean, wake up, man. Wake up. Like, I mean, call the media. Start, harassing the media, man. Harass them, be outside their business. Make sure they can't get in there while going through a million of us. You know, just I mean, it's common. Like a lot of things I'm saying is just common sense, man. So we have to figure out ways to come together. Like this is my first video. I'll probably make some more, depending on the response. I'll put this joint on YouTube, put it on Facebook. Even though a lot of people ain't gonna support it because they feel as though they don't mess with me, or they feel as though the boy is a little bit off his rocker, which I probably am. Living in Wicked Line. If you sane, you're really crazy, and if you're crazy, that means you're really sane. So that just says a lot about me, and it says a lot about you. But honestly, like I mean, you ain't gotta like me, you ain't gotta even support me. But just I would say, just send this message out. I mean, what's not good for you may be good for someone else. Just because it doesn't, appeal to you. If it's a righteous cause and it's for you and your people, I mean, I would think you would put your pride aside or whatever you want to call it, and spread the message or make, like I said, make your own video. Do something positive yourself. Do something that's going to wake people up yourself. Then if you don't like what I'm saying or what I'm doing or how I'm going about doing it, then you do it. It's that simple, man. Niggas out. Shalom.